Welcome to the Gory Details Horror Show. We are your hosts, Casey, Pletcher, and Erik.
I don't know what accent that is.
I don't know. I do not know.
What accent is that?
I don't care.
That was a terrible one. All right, hey, welcome to the podcast.
Yes, sir.
Excuse our lack of professionalism for this podcast that we're recording in my room while I'm in my pajamas, and you're listening at home for free, you cheap son of a bitch.
Yep.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
We want to let you know we got a good show coming up here. It might be more concise. We don't know. I know we like to break it up a little bit here and there, and we'll just see how it goes, man.
And in light of breaking things up or, trying something new, I think the listeners might appreciate what we got for them today.
Yeah, that's what I just said. Hey,
like,
they're gonna like this.
Hey, I'll tell you what.
Wait
a second here. For only
gonna like
5
this.
easy payments, it's
They're gonna like it.
$67.95.
Okay.
Yeah.
Listening to this podcast may contain spoilers because obviously we're going to be talking about the Green Inferno and Eli Roth.
Yes, sir.
Eli Roth. Also, listening to this podcast may cause your fingernails to melt.
Yikes!
Like right off of your fingers.
They might
even turn warm and become like acidic and burn through your fingers. Who knows? I haven't tested this yet.
Sure.
So what else?
Actually, that's wild. Listening to this podcast might attract cannibals.
Ooh.
Yeah.
The Green Inferno kind?
Yeah.
Or like the Cannibal Holocaust kind?
We're talking, actually, you know what? A hybrid of the two. How about that?
Aren't there cannibals in Papua New Guinea or something?
Something like that.
Yeah.
New Guinea?
Papua New Guinea.
Papua New Guinea?
Am I saying that right?
I don't know. That sounds like
Papua New Guinea
hey,
pig?
let me have a Papua New Guinea.
Yeah. Okay.
Anyway,
yeah, that's
so back to
that's
it.
gonna offend some people. Warning: listening to this podcast may cause unwanted Amazon purchases.
Ooh.
You may check your bank account, realize that you're a lot more poor than you were expecting, and get giant boxes from Amazon.
Yikes!
And you may open them and find something like the head of a dead elephant.
Ooh.
Who knows? I don't know if they sell that on Amazon, but if they don't, $1 million idea, people. Start cutting elephants' heads off. You have to probably raise them yourself, though.
Sure.
'Cause I'm pretty sure they wouldn't appreciate you poaching elephants just for their head.
I think
you could sell their tusks.
What's that?
You could sell their tusks.
You could.
Yeah.
We just upset PETA.
Fuck PETA.
And all of a sudden, I feel like eating a PETA.
You know, PETA has like an 80% kill shelter, right?
Is that right?
Yeah, they're fucking assholes. They have these like they call them like euthanasia truck kind of things, like vans, like these like they're basically like especially cats, because nobody wants fucking cats. People will like donate their animals or whatever, and they'll come and pick up, like, let's say a cat in the van. And then on the way back to the shelter, they'll put it down in the van.
Really?
Yeah, they actually have like the kit, the euthanasia kit. What?
Where did you see this, or where did you read about it?
It was an article. It was a reputable source. It wasn't just like a random blog or anything. I don't remember which exactly, but I remember reading it from like something along the lines of Time or CNN or something. It wasn't a bullshit source.
Sure.
Yeah, so they got these murder trucks, out of what I've heard. Out of what I know to have heard. Fuck you, PETA.
As it were.
Fuck you, terrorist bastards.
Wow.
Don't be throwing blood on my nice pleather jacket.
Ooh.
Actually, I have a leather jacket.
Yeah.
Are you one of those like vegans that you don't wear leather?
You know, obviously I may own a selected few items, right? Prior to making the transition.
Do you have diamonds?
Of course not. Yeah, I've got diamonds in my pocket.
No,
right now.
in general. Do you have
diamonds?
Do you have jewelry with diamonds?
Let me go ahead and remove my shirt, and I'll show you all the diamonds I'm currently wearing.
Chest. Do you have diamonds? Do you have diamonds?
No, I don't even.
What about your
own
wife?
a
She
single
got diamond
She's
ring?
got. Yeah,
Is it a blood diamond?
No, it's not a blood.
How many fucking African kids had to die for your wife's diamond?
What is this? A fucking interview here? Huh? What am I interviewing for?
You're the worst vegan ever.
Holy hell in a handbasket, huh?
Kids are dying for your diamond.
Ladies
you
and
won't kill a
gentlemen.
cat.
Casey Pletcher, unfiltered.
All right, what was the last warning?
So, warning, listening to this podcast could cause numerous phone calls. In fact, just crazy phone calls, just a vast amount of phone calls from that one aunt that you just hate.
Scary movies.
From your aunt?
Yeah.
How you doing there, Bobby?
Yes, Tammy, I like scary. What do you want?
Here.
What do you want from me? I
Yeah.
like scary movies.
Sure.
You're gonna send me a scary? Are you sending me a gift card for
Right.
scary movies?
Yeah, like a...
Like you missed my birthday.
Sure.
I don't know if she missed
Subscription
my
to
birthday.
like Netflix or something.
I think she did miss my birthday.
Okay.
Whatever. Who
Yeah.
cares? It's aunts can miss birthdays. I mean, it's grandparents can't.
Sure.
I think that's the rule. All right, so let's move into some really quick.
Business.
Okay. Snap. That's my business sign. I don't have like a ringing bell or anything.
Ladies and gentlemen, as you can see, we're trying here. We don't have much as far as music cues and such.
Yeah,
but
we don't
we're
have a
doing
jackpot
snapping.
bell.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, we pull the thing, like pull the lever.
we don't
until it
have
goes
sound
off.
cues, so please.
I mean, actually, we could afford that.
we could.
I mean, but
Yeah.
I don't want to do it.
Forgive our current lack of reputable sound clips, but snapping will do.
I mean, like I said, I mean, I'm sure I could actually find like common use, like sound clips,
Like laugh
of
tracks
things.
and stuff.
Yeah, all kinds of shit that
Sure.
like is free to use, but that means I would have to put work into this.
Ooh.
Yeah, I would actually have to like drop things in besides like the intro and the
we're
wolf
doing it.
news and all that. Not even as I could go back and post and drop shit in, but
I see.
like once again that would require effort.
I think that would require.
I think I'm putting
that's
enough
a rather
effort
tall
here.
glass.
I think we have a really good sounding podcast.
Oh,
so
you know what?
I think we're golden.
I vouch for that. I can vouch for that.
But we could have a better sounding podcast if you had a condenser mic.
Ooh, okay.
Which I mean I think a good way to get a condenser mic
What's
for you would be maybe if we started some kind of like a website program,
Like a Kickstarter or
like
something?
a Kickstarter, but something that people could donate monthly.
Sure.
And maybe we could hit a goal of like $150 for a new condenser mic.
Man, you know what? I'll
Yeah,
tell
what
ya.
would that thing be called if that was a thing?
You know what? If I had to really put my money on it,
Yeah.
I mean, I'm not a betting man,
Your actual money?
but if I had to put actual money,
Uh-huh.
I'd say it'd probably be called Patreon.
Patreon.
Yeah.
Who the fuck would name it Patreon?
I don't know.
Okay. Well, anyway.
Sure.
There is a thing called Patreon.
Yep.
Fuck Patreon. No, I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. No, give us money on Patreon. Patreon.
Yes,
Please
sir.
send us money on the Patreon. Actually, it's
Yeah.
funny because they were having a recent conversation on the Joe Rogan podcast about Patreon, like how some people, I guess, are like using it for like pity bucks. Like instead of creating anything, they're just like, I don't know if there's like feminists or something on there that they're just like begging for money because they feel oppressed or some shit. I don't
Really?
know. Yeah, I don't know. But we're not that person.
No.
We're the person who's creating content.
Creating content.
We are giving you a heart,
We
a
are
soul,
giving you
a voice,
our voice.
and dead air.
And then,
Anyway, so throw us some money on Patreon. That would be like awesome. Like we would be like totally into it. You can give us $1. You can give us $2.
you could even give us $100.
You know what happens if they give us $100?
What's that case?
They get a 1-minute slot.
Ooh.
Yeah, anything they want, man. If you want to advertise on this puppy, man. If you want to like give a shout out to your mom for a minute,
Sure.
If
For a
you
minute.
want to, for a whole minute, man,
Yeah.
we'll give you a whole minute
For
shout out
mom.
to your mom. Be like, yo, mom.
What up, Mom?
What up, mom?
What up?
For like a minute.
Yep.
Mom.
Hey, Mom.
Anyway,
That would be like
So-
the whole minute.
that would be the whole
What up,
minute.
Mom?
But I think we almost got a minute now. I
know.
But anyway, so throw us some money. And I mean, unless it's like completely egregious and we don't agree with it,
Sure.
then we'll run with your ad, man. Like
Yeah.
whatever. You want us to do a custom ad, man? We'll do a fucking custom ad.
We'll
you
hook
want to
it up.
throw us like some copy? Be like, yo, bitch, read this on your podcast.
Exactly.
And I'll be like, whatever, bitch.
Or whatever, biatch. Right?
But we'll read it anyway. And possibly still call you a bitch.
Okay.
So yeah, of course, Facebook, like us on the Facebook.
Sure.
We post all kinds of fun, stupid shit. We post a lot of stuff from Facebook, the Dark Side, at Lily Dark Side on the Twitter.
Yeah.
Awesome. Yeah. Awesome page. And a lot of stuff from like Crypt TV, a lot of stuff. Some of our own stuff. Yeah. Some WLF. We haven't done that in a little while. We need to get back on that.
It's been a while.
But yeah, it's got great content on there. And then we got at Gory Details HS. That is our Twitter handle.
Nice.
I don't know why they call it a handle. It's like a car handle. I don't know.
Right. Yeah.
Like, what do you do with you're opening? Like a handle opens something, right?
You use a handle to open something. Yes.
Right. So, like, what are you opening when you have a Twitter? Are you opening communication?
You're opening.
Oh, there's people outside. Oh no! Be like, shut up, bitch.
We open and we're like, shut up, bitch. And then we get showered with bullets.
Once again, we get showered with, but we are in Chicago.
Yes.
By the way, and we are in my fucking bedroom, and it is there's literally a door outside in my bedroom. So if you hear kids yelling in the background or
Children.
cars or werewolves, then that's why.
Sure.
Okay. The Gory Details Horror Show at gmail.com. That's the whole thing. The Gory Details Horror Show at gmail.com.
Listen,
You can't see me doing that with my hands.
No,
but...
you're very animated right now. Dot. I've never seen anyone place an emphasis on words like that before, or let alone an email.
I was building that one.
That was good. You're waiting for it.
We're looking at the mountains right now.
Yeah, we are. We have a spectacular view.
I got this beautiful fucking TV sitting here. We finally turned it on. We just got it playing some pictures in the background.
Screensavers.
I know you can't see it, and I know you don't give a damn, but it is making our day better. I can feel my day getting better.
My day's better.
Wonderful.
Yeah.
So
back.
Also, really quick business. If you like have a musical track that you would like us to play in the podcast, man, fucking submit it. Like, send us a message. Send it to the email, the Gory Details Horror Show at gmail.com. I mean, obviously, we've had great acts like Versus Me, The Brains, the Stellar Corpses. And my own stuff, which we're probably going to play again today. Because you motherfuckers aren't sending shit in, send some shit in.
Let us hear it.
There are fucking international bands who are letting us play their music. Where the fuck are you at, man? Step it up. Step it up. Oh, that was like in unison.
Yeah, it was.
Did you hear that?
Yeah, that was great.
Yeah, Jinx, you owe me a Coke.
Yeah, we just had a moment.
We did.
We just had a moment.
Yeah, like that snap.
Yes. So, like Casey mentioned, we have a Gmail. Let us know what you think, what you would like us to discuss. You know, things of that nature. Where we really just want to do this for the listener. We're out for you guys. So let us know what you want to hear, and we'll accommodate you.
So we have a Gmail, and do we have a G-Man?
Oh, do we?
I don't know.
G-Man.
I know that was a weird cut, by the way, but our thing took a shit.
Yeah,
so
it just took a dump.
We're back. Anyway.
We are back. So as far as the show goes today, we're going to be discussing Eli Roth's The Green Inferno, which I believe was released a week ago.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, something like
about
that.
a week ago, Friday. Anyway, we're going to be discussing closely what we liked about the film and what we didn't like.
Oh.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
I almost feel bad, like you listeners missed out on a whole bit about Home Alone. A whole bit.
Did they miss out on that?
Yeah. Yeah, funny story. We were recording, and then it stopped recording, and you missed out.
On today's show, we're going to be discussing...
Fucking keep going. Just keep going.
You need to see the look on your face.
Stopping.
Don't. You should.
Just keep going.
Anyway, check it out. On today's show, we're going to be discussing...
Look at the phone. That's why we're laughing.
You'll have to excuse the lack of professionalism here, ladies and gentlemen. I just dropped my phone as I typically do.
Yeah, we also he fucked up like 3 times, so that's not on here. I know we don't edit usually. We usually just go through, but it's been a really choppy one. The fucking Pro Tools is acting up.
It's acting up. So anyway, forgive us. Actually, I'm a little under the weather today, as is Casey.
Nobody noticed.
But anyway, not that I had to tell anyone, but... so we're going to be discussing Eli Roth's The Green Inferno.
Uh-huh.
And this is a film that was released a week ago. It's his love letter to what is it? Cannibal Holocaust, which is I guess the mecca of the cannibal subgenre, as far as I know.
Is that a subgenre?
Yeah, the cannibal subgenre.
There's a whole subgenre
Absolutely.
of just cannibals.
Yeah, basically,
Like Hills Have Eyes.
well,
is that a cannibal?
that
they
treads
just kill
cannibal
people?
Hills territory.
I actually didn't see Hills
I guess
Have
you could
Eyes.
consider it.
Do they eat anyone?
I can't recall having seen that as far as them actually doing it. But anyway,
Oh well.
Italian cinema specifically is
Big into cannibalism.
embraces that subgenre.
I
So
wonder why.
I wonder why.
Blame Mussolini.
What's that?
Blame Mussolini.
Perhaps.
Yeah.
Yeah, Mussolini,
I blame-
Treccesini.
I blame him.
Do you?
Yeah.
All right. Damn
everything.
you. For everything.
Yeah.
Wow.
Holocaust.
Oh,
9/11.
wow. That's a whole conversation in
The Grand
itself,
Canyon.
folks. So
Aliens.
Okay. And you can't be stopped.
Anyway.
So we're going to be discussing this film here, and it's a film that has received a considerable amount of, I guess, like a negative reception.
Are you talking about like critical reception, or are we
Critical
talking about...
reception. I think mostly critical.
Okay, so like,
Yeah, it's basically there is no, I guess, midpoint. You either hate it or you love it.
what did it get? Like, it got like a 73 or a 60 something on Rotten Tomatoes.
Something like that. I think it's a 5.8 on IMDb.
Oh, I never go by IMDb's rating.
I
Mainly
think they're
because
close enough.
I like it, but now their app sucks, and you can't really go mobile.
Is that right?
Yeah, I mean, it's whatever.
It's
Anyway,
limited, basically,
yeah,
the mobile.
fuck it.
Yeah. Anyway, so this film here is one that I know a lot of aficionados have been waiting for it for quite some time. And now that it's finally been released, we can enjoy it. And I'll tell you, the
Tell me.
film, I mean, let me tell you. Let me break it to you,
Yeah.
okay? I'm going to go ahead and just break
Bring
it
it
to
to
you
me.
real easy.
What's up?
Okay. As it turns out, the film, for those who may not be familiar with, involves a group of student activists as they travel to the Amazon to save the rainforest. And soon they discover that they're not alone. And in a nutshell, they figure out that no good deed goes unpunished. So they're trying to basically, obviously, save this indigenous tribe and their home, you know, from being terrorized or torn down.
Did you write that original synopsis there, or were you just reading that from that paper?
No, I wrote it.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I mean,
Because I
there's
saw you
not
looking
much
at
to
the
it.
paper, and I thought you were just like reading off like, this is the synopsis.
In a nutshell, this is the synopsis.
You know,
No.
like reading it from IMDb.
Hello. Well, actually, it's no different than what you see on IMDb. It's a pretty straightforward synopsis, basically.
Did you steal it from IMDb?
I borrowed some of it.
You
and
borrowed
then
some of it?
Yeah. So here we
Did
are.
you what's the plagiarize? Did you plagiarize it?
Of course not. No, that's.
Did you change a couple ands and does?
No,
Okay.
I'm being interrogated here, ladies and gentlemen.
Anyway, so why don't you? Because we were discussing doing kind of a different thing today.
Yeah, today our approach is such that I'm going to go ahead and discuss what I liked about the film. And I'll tell you, too, what I thought was negative, and Casey will have a go at it as well. You know, I think there are some perspectives here that the listeners will really appreciate.
Yeah,
You know?
yeah. I'm
So-
gonna beat it like a nun beats a Catholic schoolgirl.
Wow. There is no midpoint with you. It's either like real fucked up or like extremely fucked up. It's like one of the two. Anyway, what I liked about the film. We'll start with the introduction. Introduction. Enunciate. We'll start with the introduction. I thought it was very Kubrick-esque. It almost paid homage to The Shining. I don't know if you recall that particular introduction. Similar. Yeah.
Okay.
You got the bird's eye view. You know, the wide pan of just the forest.
Yeah, the
essentially.
establishing
Yeah,
shot.
exactly.
Right.
And then you got the credits rolling. You know, it's almost like prior to watching this film, you have to know what you're in for. You know what I mean? Like at this point, I would say 8 out of 10 people know what they're in for. Prior to watching the film, you know it's going to be brutal. You don't know how brutal it'll be, but you just have an idea that something's coming.
Because of the intro or because of the hype?
Well, it's a mixture of the two, the hype and the intro. So the elongated intro, I feel, contributes to that, just the suspense, the anticipation, like, oh man.
Yeah, man, trees
coming.
get me hard.
Trees. Yeah, they give me a stiffy,
Anyway.
But, so the intro I thought really established the film well. There's a particular title sequence, it's, I guess, fashioned in like a kind of a 3D.
Yeah, I was actually going to say that. When I was watching it, it almost felt like I had 3D glasses on, just like the way it popped up towards the screen.
Sure.
Which is kind of cool.
That was neat. It was different.
Nice depth.
For a film like that, it's not, it's very seldom that you see a particular treatment like that, at least with regards to the title.
Borderline cheesy.
Borderline, and that's the word for it. But I was sold on it. However,
I feel like that was a lot of the movie, though. It was like borderline cheesy.
Yeah, but that's
Eli Roth.
In my observation, that's the angle. It's meant to be seen as
like
a campy
the Jew Bear.
film.
He's borderline cheesy.
Of course, it's borderline cheesy, but it works though. I feel that these are individuals that can sell a certain concept. They sell it well, and you buy it basically.
For those of you who don't understand the Jew Bear reference, that's Inglourious Bastards, where Eli Roth plays a character,
who they call the Bear Jew.
Bear Jew.
Yeah, Bear Jew.
Bear Jew. I like Jew Bear better.
Jew Bear. That sounds like, hey everyone, it's the Jew Bear.
Well, what about the Bear Jew?
I like that. It's the Bear Jew.
With a baseball bat?
Exactly.
It's not much of a bear.
No, but he's built like a bear.
Right.
Yeah.
But bears don't use baseball bats. He should just maul people to death. That'd be a funner movie to watch. More fun?
More fun.
More fun movie to watch.
Yeah. A much more intriguing film.
So let's get it past the title sequence.
Yes.
Let's get into the actual movie.
Sure thing. There's a lot to be enjoyed about this film. I feel that you either fashion yourself one of two things. A loyalist of Roth's work. Roth. Or you're a horror aficionado. You're one of the two, or you simply just don't care for it, which is fine.
So that's three.
I meant, yeah. So that's why I said, or, on top of the two.
You said one of the two or three.
Crucify me.
Okay.
You're like, okay. No problem.
Will do.
So basically, and that's where I was getting to.
Mm-hmm.
If you're not one of the choices mentioned, then you obviously detest Roth as a director and dedicated member of society, or you simply hate the horror genre. If you deem yourself a film critic, it's simple. You either hate it or you love it.
Mm-hmm.
I loved it.
He loved it.
I really did. I mean, it resonated with me just on another level. It was everything that I expected and just slightly more, But I think I recall feeling satisfied, more than satisfied actually, upon the end credits rolling. Mm-hmm. It's obvious that the film itself, the lead actress, it's her film.
Is it her? What's her history before it? Does she? I don't think she has a lot of movies before this one.
Interesting you asked that.
Mm-hmm.
There's a film called Aftershock, and it 2012, I believe, was released, and it should be currently on Netflix for your reference, and if you'd like to check it out. Eli Roth is in that, so he's part of the cast. He's one of the characters.
Interesting.
And
so
the film itself...
Is that where they garnish that relationship?
Exactly. So basically, you'll notice this. Mm-hmm. A great deal of the actors in Aftershock are in the Green Inferno. It's
interesting.
It's pretty much the same cast.
She had one of the more convincing... I'll get into the acting later, but she had one of the more convincing...
roles.
Acting. Yeah, one of the more convincing...
Definitely.
I like her as an actress.
She sold it.
She's also has a very unique face. Very pretty eyes. Very somewhat foreign. A little bit of like an
slightly
kind of look to her. Not ethnic like most people think like black or or like whatever, but more like I don't know like.
It's hard,
like Spanish of some kind.
Yeah, that's a good observation. I felt the same, and I actually, prior to having seen the film, when I saw her picture, I figured that she was a foreign actress, basically.
Right, and in the treatment, I think, of later in the movie when it gets into her being tied up in the nudity and all that.
Sure.
I actually was, and God, it'll probably be ruined by Knock Knock, but I was actually pretty happy that like they were subtle with that. Even though there's a little tiny bit of boobage going on, it was all covered in like paint. Because I don't know, it's weird. I have this thing that like some actresses, I just don't want to see them naked. And she was one of those, like she just was like, she has that kind of quality to her that you just like don't want to see that level of exploitation.
Like you feel bad about it.
Yeah, like it's kind of like when you're like watching porn and
Sure.
you're just like, oh, that porn star, whatever. And then you like find that like girl that's like just turned 18 and she's really cute.
Sure.
And you're just like, God damn, who did what to you?
Yeah.
That you're like
That you ended up
turning
there.
a trick right now.
Yeah.
Like that face that like after you're done, you just feel automatically guilty.
Our
like that was
our elder demographic is loving this, by the way.
yeah.
Yeah, you have a point. I mean, and that speaks volumes of her interpretation, her contribution to the film. She was great. I think she was the highlight. She was the anchor of the film. Aside from,
I mean, she was the lead also.
yeah, obviously so. She was
Right.
the lead, but she was the anchor of the film. Aside from that, I mean, you have to give it to the practical effects in the film. Howard Berger and Gregory Nicotero.
Is that what you're moving into next, or
Yeah.
are we just moving into that naturally?
I think it's natural. Let it kind of flow, and it's flowing anyway.
Okay, because I didn't know if we were still doing like the back and forth thing here.
We can do the back and forth, and like I said, I can steer a little more towards just telling everybody why I liked it and why it resonated with me. But anyway, talking about the practical effects in the film.
Okay.
I mean, it's not too often that you see the use of practical effects, at least in horror movies today. I feel like a lot of the directors go towards the CGI route.
Right.
And while that may work on certain occasions, it doesn't always fare out well.
I mean, there was obviously some CGI.
Like for instance, without
Ants.
Yeah, the ants, which let's be okay.
They look like shit.
That's one of the aspects of the film that I didn't like.
Didn't like.
No.
Okay, so you see, this is like the problem with chopping it
What's
up
that?
like one person
let's-
and the other, because like I feel like there's
So I'll tell you what. I think we've provided a solid basis thus far of what the listener can expect. So let me go ahead and sound off on what it is that I liked about it, and then you can kind of get into your deal, and then we can get back to it.
fine. Leave off
Okay.
the practical effects, dickhead.
No, listen, I'm
No,
going to
it's
continue.
fine.
I'm
No, it's
totally
good.
going
No,
to
go
continue.
ahead. Go ahead.
Drama queen.
Go ahead. Listen, read off your fucking paper.
Okay, here we go. According to basic studies, just kidding. So practical effects. The work of Berger and Nicotero. I mean, these cats are, their work you'll notice in a lot of Tarantino films, especially his latter year works, like your Inglourious Bastards, your Kill Bills, and so forth. Actually, they've been around, I think, his entire career. So he's been sort of a catalyst to allowing the world to see their work. He's been like their ideal business card, and Roth also takes from that. So he's used their work as well in each and every one of his films.
Okay.
But I feel that the gore in this, and this is another thing that we'll delve into.
We're gonna argue back and forth. I mean, you gotta give me
No,
like
but listen, and
some bullet points here, because you're driving me crazy.
no, listen. So I'll give you some reference points. For instance, the first major kill. All right, the one gentleman, he was like one of the nicer guys in the film, and just a sweetheart of a man. And you thought, gosh, I could.
The guy trying to use nice bucks to buy pussy.
Exactly. Like the guy was just a sweetheart. He was like a giant bear, like a lovable bear. Anyway,
But not a bear Jew.
but not a bear Jew. Nice transition. So of course it makes sense. There we go.
That's the money.
And here comes a snap in. So of course you have this this gentleman, and he's just, Roth knows what he's doing with that character, because it wouldn't make any sense if somebody else was considered the first major kill.
I don't know, like, because I kind of expected him to like make a sacrifice for the final girl.
Yeah, I saw that, but see, that's the thing. That's what you expected. So being that that's what you expected, he's not going to take it there. And that's one thing I'll give Roth, at least with this particular entry, is it just took you places that, you were aware of the premise, but it still took you places you had no idea.
We're coming.
We're coming. So yeah, so basically that one scene, I mean, this individual gets hacked to pieces, Casey. I mean, it starts off with getting his eyes gouged out by a claw. Okay.
Okay.
Go ahead, please. Go.
Nah, you drive me crazy.
Why?
I hate this format.
Why is that?
Because there's so much shit I want to jump into.
Then jump
but it's
into
gonna
it.
fucking
It's
roll,
fine.
man.
It's fine. Let
It's
it
gonna roll, man. It's gonna rock.
It's gonna
man.
rock and roll.
It's gonna
My
be
brother,
like,
if you ain't rocking and rolling, you ain't alive tonight. So go ahead. Set it off.
Yeah, so the eye scooping. Oh god, all right.
Eye scooping. I like that.
The eye scoop.
There I go again. I'm just gonna make that. I'm gonna make that a permanent fixture,
man.
of the show.
Just fucking,
whatever.
like,
Deal
tie
with it
to your arm. No.
Yeah.
Okay, so the gore. And I want to get into that specific scene.
Sure.
Like I definitely want to talk about that scene, but I do want to mention beforehand that I was very disappointed by the level of gore and
With regards to what? Not enough or too much?
not enough. I feel like it was right, and that scene specifically. So I guess I'm kind of weaving it in and out
That's
of
fine.
that scene. But that scene specifically, first of all, it set a tone for me of what I was expecting.
Sure.
I mean, sure, like the guy getting his head taken off by like the post or whatever, the tree trunk was pretty fucking disgusting.
Yeah.
That one super twat getting shot in the neck was kind of well deserved.
Yeah.
You know, and then
twat.
taking one in the head.
Hey, what role did you play in the film? Oh, sorry, super twat. Yeah.
Super tight, super twat.
Super tight, super twat.
Anyway, so God, I was so happy to see her get shot in the face.
That was satisfying.
What a bitch. Anyway, but like, all right, so I had an extremely visceral reaction to and I feel like a lot of people in the theater, I was looking around, a lot of people were fucking cringing at that scene when he's getting hacked to pieces. I mean, starting with I'm really weird about eye gouging and fingernails being taken off.
Okay.
Like those are the two things that set me off the most. Like I can watch someone get filleted for hours, but eye gouging and fingernails, ugh.
You're not for it.
Not for it, man. But I mean, it was great. She pulled out the eye. I feel it was a little cliche that she ate it. I kind of saw that coming.
Yeah, look, that's a throwback, basically, and that's why I accepted it.
Yeah, no, I wasn't mad about it.
Yeah.
But
I'll tell you what, though, I was mad about the ants, but we'll get to that in just
yeah,
a minute.
we'll get to that. Yeah. But and then the tongue, and then like when they started quartering him, that's when it got like
It was brutal.
It was
Casey.
It was unwelcoming.
Unhinged.
It was
unhinged.
I mean, to the point where, like, once again, like, you could see in the audience just, like, the visceral and guttural reaction of people just pulling into themselves and, like, shelling up like a turtle. And, like, for a moment there, like, I was, like, actually getting kind of nauseous, which I don't think I've ever seen in a movie before, a scene that I've actually gotten physically nauseous from. So, kudos.
Yeah, definitely. In that regard, I feel that he's succeeded. And in that regard, I consider this film to be his finest hour to date.
All right, so so that scene, boom.
It set the bar.
That set the bar, but it didn't set the pace. And that's what fucking pissed me off. And that's everyone I went with. It was the same thing. Like we all talked about it afterwards, and it's like we were expecting that to happen at least a few more times in the movie, like that level of intensity. Sure. And that was like a 10. And there's only one other scene where it gets brought up to maybe a 7. And the reason it pulled back is because the concept of what could happen brought it to a 7, but then it didn't happen. And that scene for me is, and this made me extraordinarily uncomfortable, like very, very, very uncomfortable, especially with some of the people I was with.
What's that?
But, so they're sticking the little talon-looking thing up into the women's vaginas.
Sure. The claw, essentially.
Yeah, to see if they're virgins.
Yeah.
And, like, first of all, that scene by itself just
unsettling.
Made me extremely uncomfortable.
Sure.
Although a lot of those girls were cute, so it was kind of cool to see them.
You're like, it's okay.
But no, it was very unsettling. But I thought that it was actually going to like at that point move into like them just getting their genitals. And I from there, like if they would have gotten into that would have been, I think, enough. Like at that point, like, because that, I mean, I literally was like cringing so much at what could happen there that like I was actually, and this, once again, this is new for me, I was actually thinking like if they start getting into this, I might have to leave. Like I don't know if I can handle that.
You were serious about that.
I was like, because I mean I've seen like in Antichrist when she cuts her clit off.
Sure.
And that was hard to watch, but that was like one girl and she did it to herself. And the context of that scene was, it was so surreal that like you almost accepted what happened in Antichrist, because it spiraled so much that you kind of like it didn't. I don't think it had the level of impact
that it could have had.
Not.
Or that
I feel like
it should have.
It was.
Had.
I feel like it did what it was supposed to do in Antichrist. I don't think that it could have been worse, better. I think that was what it was supposed to be, and that's perfect for that. But that same visual attached to the intensity and the background of this scene, it just, what is that noise? Anyway, but yeah, attached to this scene, like, especially because they got into the genital mutilation and like that was her biggest fear, and I think also just because I was doing a lot of research. I want to say like maybe 6 months to a year ago.
Okay.
Probably about a year ago. I was doing a bunch of research on like female genital mutilation. And I was like looking at see if I can there was any causes I could kind of support for that, because I'm really disturbed by it, especially like places where like Egypt, where it's like 80% or something.
Right, because it's
like,
something that's still occurring today. Right?
Yeah, like in ridiculous numbers
with certain civilizations.
Yeah, and
in certain civilizations.
Yeah, and that's, I don't know what or why, but that's a real big trigger for me. It's just, I find it very just upsetting. And once again, it wasn't, the context wasn't lighthearted. I mean, like, if you want to, you can crack jokes about anything. I don't care, like, you know, rape, racism, whatever. Like, if it like George Carlin once said, it's the exaggeration of the joke. So, I mean, if you want to take something lighthearted, whatever. But this was a very serious tone,
sure.
Very serious scene. Like, it was like right on that line where these girls are about to be traumatized, like, for the rest of their lives.
Absolutely.
Not that like this whole thing wouldn't traumatize you, but to me that like was the the underlying fear when she went into the jungle of, like, you know, what is the worst thing that could happen to her, and it would be that.
Exactly.
And they didn't take it there. Like it was, you know, removed. Like it was like they made that into like, oh, it's going to be a big ritual, and then it of course didn't happen. So the threat was there the entire movie, but since it was never executed in any way, I mean, it diminished the return there.
Okay.
And once again, that was, I think, an opportunity to push it as far as it was going to go, and they didn't, which is fine. If there was some other scenes that accompanied the quartering, to me, the way it was built and the way that it was hyped up, of being, it was going to be one of the goriest movies ever. I think if it had like one or two more scenes, kind of like the quartering scene, that would have done it for me. That would have been not only sold, but I probably would have puked. Which, once again, I don't have a weak stomach.
Sure.
But I mean, that I might have, like, fucking, I don't know, that would have made me sick. Which is kind of what you want from that movie, I think.
Absolutely. I mean, it's a horror film,
but it immediately pulled back, and it never shot forward again. I mean, like, you got the girl slitting her own throat,
sure.
And that's cool. It was a great practical effect. It was a cool scene. The concept was interesting. She just found out that she's eating her friend. Cool. Slits her throat. But it's not particularly gory. You see that shit in movies all the time. People get throats.
You know, I'll tell you something. I feel differently about it. I feel that every kill complemented the next kill and the one prior to that, you know. Had they persisted with the level of gore that we were introduced to when when everything just when shit hit the fan. Mm-hmm. I feel that it would have treaded caricature territory.
I don't know. Hold on.
You know, the level of gore was perfectly calibrated.
I disagree.
I
fundamentally disagree.
Well,
I don't think it would have been cartoonish if there was two more scenes with that level.
I mean, I don't think it would have hurt the film, but I feel that, as I mentioned, it was just enough to carry the film, to carry your interest and to keep you engaged.
And they had so many characters that they could have killed.
Sure,
in so many brutal ways. It could have been like a festival of different ways of killing people.
The thing is, I don't think that he really... Okay, it's a cannibal subgenre.
And you want to say
but
caricature and cartoon. I mean, like the little blow dart things and shit, or them getting the people high. I mean, it was already a fucking caricature.
Well, no,
it's already
the thing
cartoon.
is, not even. That's a throwback to the cannibal subgenre of the 70s. I mean, literally, that's how they were, So in that regard, it's passable, man. I don't have an issue with that.
I don't
know.
I did, though. I called it because, like, as soon as they... poison the body with the weed.
Sure.
I turned to my friend and I was like, dude, that's just gonna give them the munchies. Then they're just gonna be more hungry.
Think about this. How brilliant was that though?
Yeah.
That was quite clever. I like the use of that. And I'll tell you, that kept the film in motion for me, as soon as that happened. Because you're right, it serves as a temporary deterrent, like a distraction. But you're absolutely right. They're gonna have the munchies. They're gonna want to eat, and who else but the people that they're holding captive.
Right. Also, I absolutely I thought like I was like in love with the scene where like the dude starts fucking jerking it. And then the other dude starts choking him, and
he's still
fucking
jerking
it.
You hear him like, yeah. That was great. I'll tell you something. For as disturbing as this film was, it did have just the right amount of comedic.
Black humor.
Sure, the one part with the tarantula. And the kid, and he's taking a leak, and he's like, "There's a tarantula, a tarantula almost bit my dick off,"
Yeah, and the thing is, like, though, with that character though that I didn't like is that, and I don't know, I get they know him, and I know whatever, but like, at a certain point with the like dastardly things he was saying and doing, like. At
his demeanor.
I'd say at the point where like the girl slits her throat and he's immediately beating off basically to her dead body. That's where I pick up a rock and I start bashing his head in. I'm done.
Right.
I'm done with that guy at that point. And they didn't hit that point. I mean, the guy started choking him a bit, but even before that point, I mean, he was a threat. Like he was obviously a danger to them. Because of his thought process. Like, you don't want that wily guy in that situation. You know what I mean?
Well,
like that's the guy you leave behind. That's
absolutely.
The guy that you like. That's like that. And I know this is a really disgusting analogy, but that's like during like situations like the Holocaust, where like people would be hiding and they'd have like a screaming baby, and sometimes the mothers would actually have to smother and kill the baby just to save the rest of the family.
Sure,
that's that baby that needed to be fucking smothered. They needed to kill that motherfucker.
That's a unique way of putting it, but yeah, the character.
And he was nothing like a goddamn baby. He wasn't innocent.
Oh no,
he was a piece of shit. I know
he was scum.
He was no baby,
he was
and he
scum.
needed to be smothered a lot quicker.
Euthanasia? No, I mean blunt force trauma killed the guy.
Right.
In that regard, that was one of the few things that I didn't like about the film. I figured, you know what? Even giving him off to the cannibals, I think that would have been too generous. It would have been nice to have seen the lead actress in the film, the lead character, exact retribution or something of that sort. Because this is the thing that got me about the film. One of the many aspects was the fact that you have this individual that they're basically imprisoned with, right? He's their immediate villain, right? Their enemy.
Right.
They got to worry about him, and not only do they have to worry about him, but they got to worry about the tribe, Right,
so the interior and the exterior threat.
And then not only that, but let's be honest, in a situation like that, it could become or get to a level where it's one for all. You know what I'm saying? Or something like that, where it's like, I'm out for myself and screw everybody else type deal. So
yeah, I don't know. He was I don't know, almost cartoonishly evil too. But
I kind of gathered that towards the beginning of the film, and then as the film progressed, he just became evil, where it was just like he didn't give a shit.
Now I remember what I was thinking. I thought that they were gonna build him as like one of those foil kind of characters that like I thought they were gonna build him as like super brave, and then once shit went down, that he was just gonna turn into a coward. Like that's how I thought that they were gonna play it, because his whole thing was like stay to the course.
Like,
and I thought like once. I know that's kind of that's why I was expecting it.
Which is expected.
I was like, he's gonna fucking puss out the second shit goes down, but instead he fucking doubles down and gets like twice as crazy as soon as shit goes down. He gets like really, and then you find out that he's a shell for the corporations. And like he's like,
it gets a little deeper with respect to plot and why they're doing what they're doing and what led them there. And while that's interesting, I feel that you got to keep everything balanced. And in the way I see it, I feel that it was a balanced effort for the most part.
So what do you think thematically of the clash between the old world and the new world? The clash between corporations and preservation, the clash of like progress versus I guess conservation.
Sure.
And the fact that Roth decided that progress should win.
That really resonated with me. I identified with that largely. In a nutshell, in a nutshell, we are the real cannibals. That's what I gathered from it. I mean that obviously.
You mean like consumerism?
Sort of, but more from a level of greed. More from a level of greed. I guess you could tie it into consumerism, but more from a level of bigger, better deal, want more, and the
American way.
Exactly,
right.
the quote unquote American way, capitalism, consumerism. These are all solid themes that are very evident in the film, and as brutal. And I think that's the importance of highlighting the brutality depicted by these deaths. Is that it's supposed to place an emphasis on our nature, and I'm not, saying all Americans, all of America is like this. No, you have a selected few who choose to basically tread a different path. You know what I mean? But yeah, in a nutshell, I felt that it spoke highly to that, which is why I felt that everything else that followed, the gore, the deaths, the character, and as we spoke earlier, some of the performances at times felt amateurish, but I felt that was okay because they fell into a groove as the film progressed, and because of the outlining themes.
Not the characters. I thought some of the acting.
Oh no, yeah, that's what I'm referring to. The acting itself,
right?
And it's evident. It's evident,
right? But also, there's got to be something to this, that you got a lot of foreigners involved. I mean, you're on a college campus, and it happens to be this foreigner who's leading the revolution, and his girlfriend happens to be a foreigner, and then their connection is this drug dealer, and it turns out that the guy who's supposed to be conservationalist, is kind of working with the corporation.
There's another name for
it. But it's
slacktivists, they call it.
Slacktivists. But it's just interesting that, I mean, there was the one character who actually was trying to make a difference, who's foreign, but it seems like all the foreigners were evil. Like you had the crazy girl who tried to sacrifice the main character by not locking her thing, and then they all tried to sacrifice her as like
this is
she got brought along as a setup. Like they brought her because they knew that she had a connection.
Essentially,
and
that's
they put her like with a gun to her head to like make a point. And I would be so pissed. But the blonde girl, foreigner, evil. The main guy, foreigner, evil. The drug dealer, foreigner, evil. Fuck all the fucking construction workers and like the hit crew, foreigners, evil. The the actual tribe, foreigners, evil. There's only one non-foreigner in the movie who's not a piece of shit.
And he's actually
he gets
somewhat
eaten by
of
ants.
a right, and he's somewhat of a sweetheart too. You know, he's
What is that trying to say though about how we view foreigners?
It could be basically a commentary on that alone, and it's interesting that you bring all of that up because that is one of the aspects of the film that really just stands out, and it's actually currently one of the aspects of the film that's frowned upon, is that depiction of the tribes, you know, the indigenous people.
Oh, I thought it was just going to be more just the way that they treated foreigners, period. Because it's going to be fuck the indigenous tribes.
No, listen to this.
I mean, that's how a lot of those fucking tribes are. Like,
how do you know that?
Who gives a shit?
How do you know that? You don't know that.
Because they have tribes like that.
We don't know that.
We do know that. Cannibalistic tribes in Africa, we fucking know that. Or South America, sorry.
Yeah, but
whatever.
We're not. We don't know the severity of the situation. We don't know, okay, to what extent. I mean, this could have been fully exaggerated.
Look at the fucking Mayans, dude. We know that people are crazy and they sacrifice people and they eat people.
Certain accounts have been documented,
I don't think that's at all offensive.
But the thing is, people are taking offense to it.
Well, fuck those people.
My thing is this:
people took offense to Harry Potter.
People are gonna they're gonna take offense to it either way you cut it.
I mean, pretty much name one horror movie that's made an impact that people didn't get super goddamn offended by. One.
Sixth Sense. The Sixth Sense.
Oh, people didn't get offended by that?
I don't believe so. Unless, of course, they have an issue with,
dead children?
Dead children or dead children as ghosts. But anyway, so it's apparent that those are the themes. Those are a lot of the themes that really stand out the most. But above all, I don't believe that it was Roth's angle. I mean, at this point, he could care less. I think this is the film. What wasn't? He's gonna offend people. It's gonna happen.
Oh, okay. I thought you meant like the tribe thing.
Oh
like
no, I mean
foreign evil, third world countries suck. Progress is better.
See, the thing is, it's all in the eye of the beholder, and people are going to think that, but that's not to state that that was Roth's angle, and I'm pretty certain it wasn't, because he's got a far bigger picture message to get to, and it's to really take a look at ourselves from within,
I guess. I mean, and there is something about the first world fucking what's it called? Diplomat's daughter going in and then coming back saying that she's like, I don't know, standing up for them or whatever.
Well, and I know we touched base on it.
Fuck the ending. Fuck the ending.
You didn't like
entirety.
it. See, you know what's funny about
and fuck
everything?
That last 5-second clip.
Okay, we'll talk about that in a second. But everything that you've mentioned that you didn't like, like you keep referring to, well, I thought it was gonna go here and it didn't. Well, that's the point. The point is for it to shift away from what you're typically accustomed to, from what you're expecting.
Yeah, but who the fuck watches all these people that they know die and get literally chopped to pieces and eaten, and they're like, no, those people were trying to save me. Like, what's the goal? What's the end game there?
Okay,
like
that may be a little.
And she was really calm about it, like no trauma. Like she was just like, yeah, no, they were really good people.
Who's to say
like,
that
who the
that
fuck?
can't happen?
What? Why? What's
happen?
her end goal?
Her end goal is to pretty much say that, you know what, she became one of them. She empathized with the tribes. Who are we to state that?
Why would she empathize?
Listen to this. Let me get to it. Who are we to state that cannibalism, with regards to their particular lifestyle and their civilization and all that, and their way of life, who are we to say that that's wrong?
We're civilized goddamn people that aren't fucking killing and raping each other. We set rules in place for a reason.
But listen, step outside the box for a second.
Okay.
By no means am I advocating, cannibalism or raping or anything like that.
I get what you're saying, cultures, whatever. But
my thing is, listen.
Fuck their culture.
What?
Fuck their culture. Some cultures get wiped out because they suck. I'm sorry. Some cultures get wiped out because...
In accordance to whose standards? Our standards?
To certain levels of progress. Once again,
certain
going back to progress.
But...
I mean, sure, some cultures get wiped out because someone has bigger guns and they're dickheads, but some cultures get wiped out because they're obsolete and they're shitty and they're just not good cultures. I'm sorry, your culture based around fucking tearing people's eyes out and tearing out their tongues and chopping off their heads and quartering them without any kind of anesthesia. Not anesthesia, but painkillers.
Sure.
Fuck them. Fuck that culture. fuck them to hell.
Like I said,
I mean, like, their entire culture needs to be wiped out. I'm sorry, deal with it.
I don't agree with it, but, who are we to judge, basically?
I am. I'm judging right now.
Well, I'll tell you what. You know what? We're
fuck their culture. If there was a country that all they did was go from tribe to tribe and rape and murder people. Oh, wait, they do that in Africa. Do we judge them? Fuck yeah, we judge them. Fuck yeah, we judge those guys who like go in with machetes and chop up the father and then rape the mother in front of the child and then cut the mother's head off and then take the child, make him a slave, put a gun in his hand at 8 years old, an AK-47, and blow the fuck out of the other cultures until he grows up to be 18 years old himself and then starts raping mothers and killing the father. Fuck that culture.
Those are all solid points, but again, I'm not advocating their ways. And the thing is, you're only focusing on the negative.
I'm saying we could wipe out that entire goddamn culture, and I don't feel bad about that. Not the people, but that culture can be wiped the fuck away. Right. Fuck that culture. It's a bad culture.
This is the thing. And this may seem a bit far-fetched, or I guess that's the wrong term for it.
I got really heated there.
You did, and that's good. No, I'm glad. Listen, this film did that. It did that to you, and that's great, Yeah. Listen to this. Those particular cultures, they don't know any better. And I know that when people hear that, they're like, oh, that's bullshit.
I'm rolling my eyes.
All right. Yeah, Casey's rolling his eyes, but they really don't. I mean, what basis do they have to know better?
Human decency.
Human decency, but what'll teach them that, right? What'll teach them that?
Intrinsic
basically?
Tribal morals, I guess. I don't know.
But
how do people?
My question is, where
are we trying to make the argument that you need something like the Bible or some kind of religion to tell people what's right and wrong? I think
putting words in my mouth.
they know fundamentally. They don't eat each other. They know fundamentally that eating people's fucked up.
No, you know that because you were raised to believe a certain way. I know that because I was raised to believe a certain way. But they don't know that because that's all they know. That's all I'm saying.
Well, the child helps her escape.
What's that?
He has empathy.
See, that was. Again,
so they do know fundamentally as children that it's wrong.
Of course, these are natural instincts. Everybody has natural instincts.
Yeah, that's
what
my point.
Choose to do
is that they're
with those
shunning
instincts,
their natural instinct to preserve the tribe
because
by
they don't know any
killing
better.
and eating people. Not because they don't know any better.
They really don't.
They're making a conscious choice. The child knows as a child that it's wrong, but in his culture, they gotta know. If they know from childhood that intrinsically what they're doing is wrong, then they got to know as they grow up that it's wrong. And there have to be sympathizers. Just like in Nazi Germany, there were fucking sympathizers.
Absolutely. I'm not saying that it doesn't exist.
Grew up, or at least, I mean, that was a long goddamn war.
Sure.
And there are people who like came of age. And there were people who believed the slander and the bullshit, and then there were people who had to stick to it.
Sure.
And you got to think, and even in a small tribe like that, there's got to be a few outliers who are like, "This is fucking wrong," but I can't really do anything about it.
Right.
But they got to know it's fucking wrong.
Well, one of the aspects that stood out towards the end was their encounter with the construction crew, and they're ripping down the rainforest. What a metaphor! I mean. So here we are. We were presented with basically an aspect of their lives, the cannibalism. Right. And then towards the end, you're introduced to our version of that, so to speak, know? And even if in a figurative sense. So it's almost like, and I think that part of what Roth wanted to accomplish was to highlight both sides of the table.
But once again, progress won.
Well, of course, progress won, but you're conflicted because you ask yourself, you hated the ending. You couldn't understand why the main character pretty much lied about her whole experience. But in a nutshell, she empathized with the tribes. She saw what they were going through.
I think that's bullshit.
Well,
I think she had other motives.
That's your opinion.
I think she did have motives. I think part of her motives were, I don't know, like the fact that she went through all of that trouble. And maybe she just wanted to take credit. Maybe she just wanted to be in the spotlight.
No.
Who knows? Maybe she. I mean, why did she join in the first place? I mean,
because she's not okay. This is the thing, and I think it played into how naive certain people are with regards to certain pursuing certain causes. When you don't know a whole hell of a lot about, what you're getting yourself into. It spoke closely to that. You got these individuals. So it's almost like, listen, if you're going to follow something, make sure that you understand it inside out, every aspect of that cause.
Once again, I don't think that she was somehow reborn into it. Once again, if she cared that much, she would have fucking given herself instead of just being like, please take me home.
Yeah.
She would have just gone back if she cared that much about the fucking tribe.
I mean, she's
and it's not like she went home and cut off her clit. I mean, like or start eating people.
True.
She obviously did not agree with it. My question once again goes to what is the underlying reason that she would come back and lie? My friend did bring up a good point that she left the dude in the jungle alive.
Sure.
And if she said that they were captured, then they might send a rescue crew for him. That they might try to find survivors. And she wants him to be trapped there.
Right.
So the only reason she lied is to leave him in the jungle. And then at the end, that stupid clip showed that he actually made it through. So even though she was trying to leave him behind, he still made it. And that's what pisses me off, is that view that the entire reason she lied is to leave him in the jungle so he could suffer.
That's one perspective.
I think that's
could see that.
what he was
However,
going for.
I don't think that's why,
I think that's why it was that big surprise at the end. Like, oh, he's actually still alive and he acclimated to the culture.
Consider this. I don't think. How do we know that he acclimated to the culture?
Because he's wearing the black of the executioner. He's wearing the black makeup that the executioner wears. And the executioner was killed. He took over the mantle of the executioner.
I actually thought that was part of, it was a satellite image, right? Mm-hmm. So I thought that that was the way that he was interpreted via that satellite image.
No. It wasn't like a darker color. It was black. He was wearing black.
I'll tell you what. I'm gonna revisit this film again, specifically to notice that, because I didn't notice it.
It was black. It was the exact.
I mean, I noticed it. I noticed it was black. But I thought that was just part of the resolution of that particular.
That's a throw that's saying that he joined.
He's
and
part
just
of
the look on his face. He was on the hunt,
that's
man.
True.
Like that was the whole thing.
That I'll tell you what. Now that you've mentioned that, that's pretty sweet, and what a turn. No.
Also, you have to consider. This is very. I feel conflicting.
Let's hear it.
Not personally conflicting, but they fucked up conflicting.
How so?
Is that she looks out the window after her nightmare and she sees all these activists and they're wearing a free what's his name shirt, whatever the fuck the bad guy's name is. They're wearing a free whatever, a Che Guevara red
a villain.
shirt.
Yeah,
but
inspired,
it says free.
Right.
What's the
I forget
character's name?
I can't recall.
And then they got his face. And then they show that
Alejandro was his name.
Okay.
Yeah.
So they have a free Alejandro shirt, which implies that he was captured. But if she says that the people were good and they didn't, and everybody died in the plane accident, why would he need to be freed? He's dead.
There's another angle. Another angle that
So was he captured? Do they know that he's in the jungle captured?
This is
something, or was that part of her dream? Was that lying thing part of her dream?
See, had that been the case and it was part of their dream, I think that would have been lazy storytelling.
I think the entire ending was lazy storytelling. And I think they fucked something up.
No.
Either, once again, you can't free somebody who's dead, or they know that he's not dead and he's in the middle of the shit. But why would he still be there if she said that everybody died in the plane accident?
Because they have the footage, the satellite footage of his existence.
No, I know. But what I'm saying is she said that everyone died in the plane accident.
Right.
So if they're wearing a free Alejandro shirt, they know he's
still alive.
In captive.
Right.
Not still alive. He's in captive. Because otherwise it would be save or find Alejandro.
Sure.
It's not. It's free.
Perhaps
Alejandro.
that's what they were referring to.
So he is being captive.
Okay.
Right. So either the two can't live in the same universe. Either she was dreaming that she said that story, and then it went to her seeing Alejandro and biting him immediately after, and then she woke up.
But that was a
dream.
So
that might have been but the whole thing could have been a dream.
Possibly.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
And then it actually turns out that she didn't lie.
Sure.
So he's in the jungle somewhere, and they're saying free him, find him, free him. Or maybe he was captured by the fucking construction people. Whoever. The point being, it has to be one or the other. The two can't exist in the same universe.
You may have just exposed a break in continuity with regards to just the storytelling, the plot itself, possibly.
Right.
And like I said, I'd have to revisit the film a second time to study that. That's an excellent observation.
That's also why I hated the ending.
But I'll tell you, I was still happy with it. I think I was just taken aback by everything that happened. I mean, I was still reeling from the first death.
Right.
Okay, because that was brutal. And as I mentioned, anything less or anything more would have thrown the entire film off completely.
Well, we're going to have to fundamentally disagree. Although, okay, so let's get into the ant thing.
Sure.
Because that fucking drove me crazy.
Yeah.
Not just because of the CGI, but, okay, so this is because I actually, like, nudged my friend. I'm like, haha, watch this. Because they smeared him, I don't know if you caught this, they smeared him with this, like, green fluid.
Yep.
And because the movie's called The Green Inferno,
Right.
I thought they were going to set him on fire. He's on a pike. He's on a fucking
Which is
burning pike. Like,
one
that's
of
where
several,
you put witches.
One of several
and I thought they were going to...
references to Cannibal Holocaust.
Yeah, I thought they were going to... But, I mean, he's being smeared with this green shit. He's on, like a fucking... where you burn a witch.
A stake or a pike.
Yeah, and I thought they were going to light him on fire. And I thought it would be a cool effect if, like, the fire was kind of tinted green because of the green shit. But then he got fucking eaten by ants, and he didn't even get eaten by. I thought they were gonna like fucking cabin fever. Like they have that kind of like that. Yeah, I thought they were gonna like eat into him, and he was gonna cave away or something.
Gosh,
but no, he's
you
just
have a
kinda,
hunger for like some really sick shit.
Gets these little bites all over him. And he's like, kill me.
No,
and the kid's like, okay.
They were little bites, no baby bites, no. They were serious abrasions, man. They were like gashes, man. They were
gashes. They were like lumpy
scrapes. They were scrapes.
They were
scrape-like.
But it wasn't like they didn't show enough trauma that he would want to be. I mean, no.
Okay.
He might want to be killed from like the blunt breaking the bones trauma,
which would have been
the
fine.
Executioner, but not the Anzac.
Let me tell you, the whole aspect of him being set on fire and the green flame and all that. I'm okay with that. In fact, I would have loved to have seen that. Okay.
And actually, would have been a less painful death.
Or so we think. But listen to this.
No, I know that would be a less painful death than being eaten by ants.
What?
No, like, when I saw it, I turned to my friend, and I was like, they're going to set him on fire. That's actually a mercy killing. And then the ants came, and I'm like, oh, the ants are going to eat him alive? That's like the worst way to die ever, is being slowly eaten alive by ants.
Exactly.
But then he didn't get eaten alive by ants. He just got bit.
See, it further proves my point that all of your expectations have been shut down.
Fuck that.
Yeah.
No, fuck that.
No.
That was a good expectation.
You're in denial.
Them not even eating him, but just biting him. Fuck that.
Exactly. Because that's what you expect.
I like the
that's
expectation better. I think I had a better expectation when the movie threw it.
It might as well be playing a double feature with Sharknado at that point.
Whatever.
Because,
Whatever.
Yeah.
Bullshit.
Fucking
he
sci-fi.
Should have been either set on fire or eaten.
Your latest fucking Friday night
one or the other.
creature feature film on sci-fi.
Fuck it.
That's what that is.
No.
Yeah.
Right there. There's my middle finger.
All right. Right back at you, pal.
Fuck that shit.
Anyway.
But it would have been great. And why... I don't know if you're aware of this, but when you get set on fire, you're like almost immediately it burns off the nerves, so you actually don't feel yourself burning to death.
Right. Okay.
It's just people scream because of the fear of just watching fire engulf your body.
But I would imagine that they would be able to feel something initially, wouldn't you?
Yeah.
say?
I mean, yeah. But I mean, it burns off your nerves pretty quickly.
That's brutal.
That's what I've heard.
That's a brutal way to go out, and that's why I say
no. What's more brutal is the ants, because that you're gonna feel every last bite.
I think you mentioned, correct me if I'm wrong, but did you not mention having that happen simultaneously or no? The ants and the fire? Or you think that would be overkill? I actually don't think that would be overkill. I'd be okay with that. Starting with the ants. Imagine starting with the ants and then setting the guy on fire.
Although, another thing, I don't know if what happened there, but when he was getting the first guy was getting hacked up.
Sure.
Another thing that like I was half praying for, but also half like wondering why it hasn't happened yet, was usually also in those situations, and I mean there's always exceptions, but usually also in those situations when you're in that much trauma, you go into such a state of shock that usually you black out.
Right.
Like when you're getting your limbs chopped off, at that point of pain, most people
that's what I
black
figured.
out.
That's what I figured.
And he was
you really
still
didn't
kind
see
of
much of
aware.
that. You didn't see much of that.
Yeah, I would figure like once your eyes are gouged, they cut out your tongue and start chopping off your arm.
The first step,
your brain is just gonna shut off.
Exactly. You saw that slightly, but they didn't really play into that.
I don't know. So I was like, half of me was like, God, I hope he blacks out. But then like they're getting ready to cut his head off, and it looks like he's still there. And I'm like, oh, I don't know.
Yeah.
I mean, sure, it could happen.
But-
You could stay awake through it, but I don't think most people would.
No, definitely not. You kept making a reference to this executioner character.
Yeah.
He was my favorite character in the whole film.
Oh, he was great. Yeah, he was a good villain.
A great villain. And I'll even
Memorable.
His most memorable, Roth's most memorable villain by far. I mean, I liked him. He looked terrifying, you know. And then just his
teeth.
relentless the teeth. Yes, the relentless nature in his approach. You know, hacking away at people, just and
Beating their bones.
and
so they
he got
can't run.
such joy. You know, he basically
That was also-
it gave him such joy.
I was like, what's your game plan here? When she like ran over and tried to untie him, I'm like, you know, he broke all of his leg bones and his arm bones. Like, are you gonna
Towards the end, you mean?
Yeah, I'm like, are you gonna carry him out of the jungle? Like, what's your game
But
here? Because
you
he
know,
can't walk.
I think they stopped at the right point because had they gone that route, I don't know.
No, they couldn't go that route. She's like $120, and he's like almost 200 pounds.
Of course, she wasn't
There's
going to
no
carry
fucking
him out.
way.
But,
Like,
but you can tell that the
and I
urge,
think I think $120 is calling her a little fatter than she is.
right? Because the urge to want to save and aid was there.
And once again, $120 is not fat, but I think she's probably just a little lighter than that. I don't want women to like feel like I'm saying that like 120 pounds is like heavy.
They're like, oh, you asshole.
Yeah, you asshole. No, I mean like, you know, trying to be sensitive to
So I think it's safe to say that we can pretty much wrap up this segment, unless of course there's something else that you wanted to touch base on.
No, I think I'm golden, man.
I'd like to at least close it with a nutshell. Kind of like, okay, in a nutshell, this is what I thought. In a nutshell, this is what I thought.
You already know what I thought.
Let's hear it.
No,
For those listeners who are just listening in for whatever
Nobody's
reason.
just like, it's the end of the fucking pod. Fuck them if they're just listening in. Like, dude, we're fucking 71 minutes in. If they're just listening, they missed the podcast. You missed the fucking boat, bro. Rewind that shit.
Rewind. Be kind and rewind.
Yeah.
In a nutshell, I loved it. I think that it's Eli Roth's finest hour, as I mentioned. The gore, everything was just balanced. The editing, I think, also was a standout piece, even though Casey will disagree. But this is the film to catapult Eli Roth to Master of Horror status, by far. Definitely.
Yeah, and I thought the acting was shitty. The gore could have been more.
He has a way of approaching, like making bad acting look somewhat good.
I thought I was going to have my thoughts. Where's my nutshell?
The floor is yours.
I didn't interrupt your nutshell.
Ooh. But you did so for the majority of the show, so
Yeah,
right
but
back at you.
not your nutshell.
Huh?
I gave you your nutshell, asshole.
Oh.
Okay,
Are you
anyway.
mad?
Yeah,
Go ahead.
don't you.
I
Don't
did.
go there.
Yeah.
Don't
I
get
went
there. All right, anyway.
So give us your take.
Fucking swing on you, bro.
I'll swing right back.
Throw a haymaker so I can choke you out.
Oh, okay. We'll see what happens.
All right. Anyway, you guys know how I feel about the movie. Once again, this isn't to say it was a bad movie. I enjoyed it more than I disliked it.
Okay,
so
that's good. That's
I'd
solid.
say like I'd agree with Rotten Tomatoes or whatever, like high 60s, low 70s.
You don't think it deserves at least an 80?
No.
Okay.
70s would be pushing it.
Ooh, I feel otherwise. At least an 85. At least.
I don't know.
Okay.
Okay, well, we are going to throw to WOLF Action News. And then the end of the podcast, we're going to have a song by my project,
Yours truly.
Casey Edwin, off of the Almost Country EP, which is available on Bandcamp for free. The entire EP is free.
Not that I need to sell the listeners or anything like that, or not that I need to stroke you any more than you've been stroked, you bastard.
Stroke it.
You're like, stroke away. But
Just stroke it.
The song, listen, if you're not into the country genre, this song is certainly for you. It'll either persuade you or there's no other. I mean, it'll persuade you to enjoy country.
Or it's gonna just make you hate country
Or-
more. Like, fuck it.
One of the two.
It's not. I mean,
But
it's barely country.
I'll tell you,
it's almost Western.
It is, but it's got slight hints of country, and it's just it was done beautifully. So
Thank you.
Enjoy.
Okay, so here is WLF Action News. Hello, and welcome to WOLF Action News. Welcome and good evening. I am GoFuck.
And I am yourself.
Here are tonight's top stories.
This just in, a group of activists were discovered in pieces in the outskirts of Peru. Investigators have no leads as of the current time, but attribute it to foul play and possibly at the hand of a tribe of cannibals.
Wonderful. Your consciousness is stuck in a neon green bubble. It cannot escape. Everything you experience is in this bubble. Keep this in mind moving forward. You are in a bubble, you will always be in a bubble, and it is very likely that you have always been in this bubble.
Witnesses in northern parts of Russia reported several sightings of a mysterious figure known to the locals as the Executioner. It's been reported that said individual could be potentially dangerous and have an incurable appetite for, you guessed it, foreigners.
In flesh.
And flesh. Actually, foreign flesh, as it were.
Foreign flesh. That's wonderful to know.
And foreign blood.
Another story. Trees have become sentient in Nebraska. They can't talk, hear, see, or even move, but they are now sentient. They probably feel as trapped as you are right now in your neon green bubble.
And that is your WOLF Action News.
A quick message from the Chicago mayor. Remember, if it bleeds, it leads. Unless it bleeds too much, and then it dies. All right, welcome back to the Gory Details Horror Show.
That point in the show has arrived. We have come...
Where we've gone insane.
Where we've gone insane and we've come to a close.
Lost our shit.
We have come to a close. We want to go ahead and
the
thank...
days coming to the close on the screen.
Oh, wow. That was just perfect the way it worked out.
They can't see it, though. So
No,
it
they
doesn't
can't.
really matter.
But we can, so whatever.
Yeah. Fingers
So-
in the air, bitch.
Fingers in the air, biatches.
You don't know which fingers.
No, you don't. Anyway, so thank you for listening. Thank you for your support. Thank you for your likes. Thank you for just everything. And just remember, we do this for you, our fans, the listeners, and again, to touch base, if you want to go ahead and show a little more love, a little more support, Patreon.com. All right, throw us some financial affection, if you will, just to ensure that we continue to move in the right direction.
Also, Facebook.
Also, the Facebook. So, as Casey mentioned earlier, you're treated to just a slew of trivia, facts, and just some great humor. Something to lift you up during the day and in the morning, and just get you trucking along. So, if we can do that for you, awesome.
At Gory Details GS. Yes. At Gory Details GS. For Twitter, the Gory Details
HS.
Horror Show,
HS, yes.
That's why I fucked up.
Yep.
The Gory Details Horror Show at gmail.com. Also forgot to mention, we are on iTunes. Subscribe on iTunes.
Free of charge.
We are on Stitcher.
Free
of charge. The app is free of charge.
Yes.
You can listen to a lot of great podcasts on there. So
one of them being the Craptacular Review.
The Craptacular Review. Those actually, they're not on Stitcher.
Oh, they're not.
You're completely wrong. They are on iTunes.
Hopefully
not
soon.
iTunes.
Hopefully soon.
They are on YouTube. They're whatever. They're out there.
Listen, check
they're
us
on
out on YouTube.
I know they're on YouTube.
Check them out on YouTube.
Yes, we're on
you're
YouTube
in for
too.
a good show.
Yeah. So once again, throw to Craptacular Review. Thank you guys. I know that they're not going to be listening to this for a while because I just talked to Justin. He hasn't seen Green Inferno, and he's like, I'm going to have to skip your episode until I see Green Inferno when it comes out on DVD or wherever it comes out. And I'm like, well, all right, I guess you'll hear this episode in a few months.
Okay.
Anyway, so we're going to throw to Casey Edwin is the name of the project. It's on the album Almost Country. Well, it's an EP. EP. It's an EP.
What's the song called?
The song is called "Lost in Wayward Winds."
Let me go. That deserves a proper introduction with an accent. So I'm going to go ahead and give it a little draw here. What'd you say the name of the song was again?
Lost in Wayward Winds.
All right, the name of this next track is "Lost in Wayward Winds," and I tell you something. If you want something good, this ain't the track for you. Just kidding.
Sorry, yeah. Go fuck yourself, Yankee.
All right, I'm kidding, man. I love country and I love this song, and this is an artist to watch out for. So treat your senses and go fuck yourself.
Have a good evening.